Welcome to the English with Kirsty podcast from www.englishwithkirsty.com. Here I'll be sharing with you tips, information and other learning resources so that you can improve your business English. Hello everybody and welcome to episode 45. I can't believe that this podcast is nearly a year old. So today I want to talk about something that came up in the Facebook group. I think it was Tanya asked about phrasal verbs and, which ones to learn, how you learn them, that kind of thing. So my first piece of advice to Tanya was, learn the ones that are going to be useful to you. Don't just learn a load of random words, but learn words which will come up in conversation or which you'll need to use when you're writing. And another thing that you can do is to learn families of words. So words that begin with the same verb. So today we're going to look at 4 of them. So give, take, do and make. But in each one there are going to be sentences with phrasal verbs that use these words. If you want to have a look at them, you can go to the website. The show notes page for this episode is www.englishwithkirsty.com/podcast/episode 45. And there you can also send me a message if there's something that you want to say about the episode, about learning English in general. And you can also find the link to the Facebook group there. So if you want to join the Facebook group, you can go to the show notes page and do it from there. Okay, so first of all, we're going to talk about give. So the first one is to give somebody an idea about something. So it doesn't mean you're telling them, it means you're explaining something so that they can imagine it for themselves. So this document should give you an idea of what we'd like to achieve during the next phase of the project. So it's not going to tell you everything, but it will outline what they're intending to do and give you some further details about that. Okay, so the next one is to give somebody feedback. So it's important to remember, you may know feedback, but it's important to know that you give feedback. You don't do feedback or anything like that. You give it. So you give somebody some feedback. So the example sentence, I would appreciate it if you could give me some feedback on this proposal. Something else you can do with give, you can give somebody a hand. That basically means you help them. Can you give me a hand with this project? If you give someone a hand, you help them, basically, but it's just another way of saying help. Okay, so there are a few sentences with give. You can also take. So you can take the lead on something, which means that you're kind of in charge, you're leading on that particular, it could be a project, it could be a piece of work, it could be anything really, but so I've asked a colleague to take the lead on this because they have more experience in this field. So you take the lead. You can also take a risk. So you don't know what the outcome will be, but you hope for the best. It's better when it's a calculated risk, or you know what the chances are of it going well, but sometimes you take a risk. You can also take minutes, and that's an unusual phrase that we have, but basically taking the minutes means writing the notes of the meeting. So what the action points were, what was agreed, who was there, when the next meeting will be, what the deadlines for the actions are, all those things, they belong in the minutes, and the person who writes the notes is the minute taker, or they're taking the minutes of the meeting. And you can take an opportunity to do something. So I'd like to take this opportunity to explain what we've been doing since the last meeting. So take an opportunity to go together. You don't do an opportunity or give an opportunity. You can give somebody an opportunity to do something, but that's not the same as taking an opportunity. You can give someone an opportunity to show how much they've learned by allowing them to do something, to lead on a project. That's slightly different than when somebody says, I'm going to take this opportunity to, that means that they're going to use the opportunity that's presented to them and do whatever they say they're going to do. So do you can do research, and I sometimes see people saying make research, and that's wrong. You don't make research, you do research, or you can research something. So you can do research into the types of English courses that people most like to do, or you can research that, but you don't make research. So you can say, if we don't do the research properly, we could lose a lot of money. And also with do, you can do well, do badly, do better, all these kind of things. So if you can say, these sales figures are not bad, but we need to do better next year, it means the sales figures need to be better. We need to achieve more. We need to sell more things. And if you want to congratulate somebody, or to give them some positive feedback, you can say, you've done really well. That's great. You've done really well. Or, yeah, you've done better than last time, whatever it is. So all these, to do well, to do badly, to do better, you can use all of those when they're made with do. And the last one is make. So you can make lots of things. But one of them is progress. So you can say we've had countless meetings, but we haven't made much progress. So you make progress. And you also make improvements to things. So we've made improvements to our processes, which basically means that you've improved the processes. But if you say you make improvements too, it kind of gives the impression that you're taking steps to improve the processes. You can make the most of something. So in order to make the most of the time available to us, we've decided to have a working lunch. So make the most of, it means, well, this is what we have, and we're going to try to get the best possible results with what we have. It may not be the best. This conference room is not the best. We don't like it, but let's make the most of it. We're here now, and let's try and make the training course as good as it can be. You can make a point. You've just made a really good point. I hadn't thought of this before, so you can make a point. You can make a change to something. You can make a change to a document. You can make a lot of things. You can make recommendations about something. You've read somebody's proposal and you think that it could be improved, so you make recommendations about it and send them back. So this is by no means an exhaustive list, because there are so many things that you can do with give and take and do and make, but sometimes I've just used these because sometimes it's good to learn a few together. So, okay, what can we make? What can we give? What can we take? And that sometimes helps when you want to learn these expressions by grouping them and thinking, okay, which ones of these will be useful and which ones do I want to learn? Okay, so as I said, these sentences will be on the show notes page, which is www.englishwithkirsty.com/podcast/episode 45. And I know that I'm most active on Facebook, so I've got the Facebook page. I've also got the Facebook group, which you're welcome to join. But if you're also active on Twitter, then I do have a Twitter account. It's English with K, just the letter K, because Kirsty would have been too long. So if you use Twitter and you want to see some English articles about learning English and some questions and some information, then you can follow English with K, and it would be great to hear from you. So send me a tweet. I'd like to know who's listening to the podcast and what you think about it. So I will also add my Twitter name to the show notes page as well. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, and I'll be back again next week with some more tips on learning English. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the English with Kirsty podcast. If you have any questions or comments, my email address is kirsty@englishwithkirsty.com, or you can go to www.englishwithkirsty.com/podcast, where you'll find information about the individual episodes.